Hi friends, how are you? This is the Chaldonut speaking, and welcome back to another episode of Behind the Scenes of a Chaldonian Survival. And today, guys, I want to first off apologize for the lack of videos in this series over the past couple of weeks. The way my upload schedule worked out, and I know it seems weird that I'm calling it an upload schedule, because I said I wasn't going to have one of those this summer. But I have indeed been making sure I do at least one of every series for the most part each week. And since I'd missed a couple videos lately for various reasons on the channel, I therefore did not manage to get this series up because, you know, I didn't have a full 7 days. So obviously some things would be missed, and this was one of those things. But anyways, the series is back. I'm hoping I can finish it next week with episode 3, unless you guys decide that you have some more questions for me. If you guys do, that is much appreciated. I'll be happy to answer some more questions in a 4th episode. But I haven't received any questions yet on the first one. So unless I get some questions on this one or episode 3, 3 episodes is probably going to be it for the Behind the Scenes series. But anyways, let's jump into the actual behind-the-scenes talk for this world. So episode 2, I said last time, was going to be focused on Chaldonia and stuff like that, while episode 3 will be focused on Althalos and the confrontations in episodes 9 through 12 and stuff like that. So I'd like to walk you guys through a few things today, but first of all, before I get into any of them, remember guys, this is a behind-the-scenes series, so if you are watching this now, please remember that there will be spoilers in this, and that you should watch all 12 episodes of A Chaldonian Survival before you watch the behind-the-scenes series. You have been warned, so anyways, let's continue. Now, you'll notice that this is indeed the copy of the destroyed Chaldonia, and what I'd like to talk about first, I guess, is how I built the map, and then how I destroyed it. So basically what I did, guys, was I came up with a build theme, eventually. I mean, I started with the town hall over here. This was the first thing I built for the world. And, this doesn't really fit as well with the theme as a lot of the other stuff does. But you can see that I started my theme of jungle, planks for the rooftops, here. I mean, I don't use jungle everywhere, but that's a theme that is used. I started using sandstone pretty early on for the flooring. And then there's this back portion of the town hall. This has gone through several iterations, and I think this was the best looking one, especially from the top. It looks the best. From the back, it looks a little bit plain, but it does add some nice closure to the back, because the back of this building looked a little bit weird, especially with this sort of window in the back. And actually, guys, I'm not sure if you ever saw this, but what this was supposed to have was like a C in the opening back here. But because, you know, the world is supposed to have blown up during an invasion, that's now gone. But anyways, that's where the build theme started. And I started moving on and branching out with more sandstone-based structures. I'm most proud of this arena because it has been built diagonally, which is something that was very tough for me, but I did manage to do it. But anyways, I started with the town hall. I think this arena was the second thing I did. Then I think I may have done the roads, or maybe I did the roads and then the arena. I think that's actually how I did it. So, town hall, roads, arena, I think is how it went. And then I started moving on and doing the buildings along this side of the street, I believe. Then I think I did the tavern, it's supposed to be a tavern, and the sort of residential area here. The residential area was actually one of the last things I did. I did these 4 houses, and then these 4 little houses inside one big building. And, you know, all the way along the way, I was trying to keep things a little bit varied, but also I tried to keep a uniform and a unifying build theme. So, you know, these all look a little bit different, but they still have a lot of common features. Spruce logs is a common theme. Junglewood roofs are something that appear a lot. Sandstone walls. common theme, stuff like that. And then also, along the way, I built this little town square area for markets and things. And eventually, guys, I plan for this episode, I'm planning to go to the original world and show you guys a bit of what happened here. So you'll actually see what this looked like before it got all blown up. But anyways, on to blowing up and how that happened. I'd like to talk about that real quick. The way I destroyed Chaldonia was I placed TNT and I lit it on top of various buildings. And then I would do touch-ups with just breaking blocks to make things look a bit nicer. Seems strange, right? I blew something up and then tried to make it look nicer. But I guess I tried to make it look more believable, rather than, oh, well, this is just some random TNT that got thrown down. Like, I wanted it to look like there was actual destruction, sort of. If you're understanding my meaning here, guys. So, I spent some time on that, doing touch-ups in the roof and making them look a bit better in terms of their destruction. I would do some stuff with the logs and the walls and things. But that was the general plan with destroying Chaldonia. And also, there's one more building we haven't talked about this episode that we should talk about, now that we've briefly covered Chaldonia itself. We'll go back there later in the episode, but I want to talk about the farmhouse. Now, the farmhouse, and I'm speaking just about the farmhouse and not about the farm, is actually basically an exact copy of a build I made in a single-player creative world in the past. It looks pretty much exactly the same, except it has sandstone, where I believe it was stone brick before, I think is the deal. I'm not sure if I'm remembering this right, but I think it was stone brick. It might have been oak wood here. I can't remember now, guys. I'm sorry about that, but this is actually something I took in MC Edit and copied into my world, because I didn't want to redesign it, and I did like the way the building looked. But then I did actually modify the farm. The farm used to look very square, like there were these square plots bordered in wood with crops on them, but this time I went for something a lot more natural and a lot more interesting and detailed. So I went around and I got rid of the trees. I took away their leaves using MC Edit, and then I broke down the logs. I think you can actually see here, yeah, you can see what I did, because one of the brushes that I was using actually caught this tree. And I think you see that in one of the episodes. I'm not sure which one it is. I think it's 11 or 12. But that's just a little Easter egg for you guys. Anyways, I built the outside of the farm, and then I just went around and I planted crops. I put down some water, and I used a hoe on the ground, and then I planted tons of crops everywhere. So, that was how I made the farm. Now, anyways, the last thing I want to do on this world save before I take you guys back to the original world save is the tents. Althalos's minions' tents. And I guess we'll go to this one since it's close by, and they're all basically the same. This one is a campfire, just because I thought it was a nice detail. I think this was actually an error on my part. I think it was supposed to be bordered by more logs and more, and I think there was a little bit of stone in the ground too, but I think I copied my my fire wrong, and I copied it one block too low, I believe is the deal, and then as a result, this doesn't look as good as it was supposed to. I think that's what happened. I'm not positive. But anyways, that's just one little detail. Now let's move on to the actual tents. So I came up with a theme for these sort of tents that were a bit more detailed than your average, just like a few wool blocks placed in a triangle or something. This has stone brick details and cobble walls and gray and black wool, which you see once again at Althalos's fortress on his flags. So that was a nice little detail. But anyways, I put in some chests and some crafting tables to add a little more detail. And then I actually put in some monster spawners because I was trying to make it more difficult for me when I was actually in the game, because I wanted there to be mobs next to these tents, so it seemed like, excuse me, there were actually creatures living in these tents. Now, one thing that I came across during the series was it was daytime when I discovered the tents, so they weren't actually spawning monsters. which actually worked out okay because later on in the series, when we go to Althalos' fortress, we see the spawners actually creating mobs, and so it's sort of a small mystery for our hero to tackle, because he sees them here, and he decides to break them because he's a little worried about them. I mean, they're cages with monsters inside of them. Clearly there's something suspicious going on, but then he finally realizes what they do when he visits Althalos' fortress. So anyways, now we've covered the tents, the build theme, the order I constructed things, how I destroyed Chaldonia, and the farm. So I think the last thing I want to talk to you guys about today is the opening sequence with the airships. Hopefully you guys remember that from the intros. It was a nice little effect that was made by my friend whitetigersushi, who plays Althalos, and also worked on the crystal explosion effect in episode 9. So we're going to go check out that, talk about the airships themselves, talk about how the fireballs came down from the sky and blew up things. And we're going to talk about the actual look of Chaldonia before it got blown up, or at least we'll do a quick flyby around the buildings to show you how it looked beforehand. So anyways, guys, I'm going to hop into that world so I can show you how things worked, and I will be with you when I am there. Alright, guys, so we're in the world. Here are the airships and the undestroyed, I guess is the word I'm looking for, version of Chaldonia. So first of all, let's look at the airship design. I went for something kind of round, but then I also knew I needed some sort of floating mechanic, balloons or whatever, that were going to hold the airship up. So I came up with this little wool design because I thought it looked kind of neat. It's a little hard to see at nighttime when the actual shot takes place, but I do think they look pretty cool, these airships. And anyways, now that you've seen them briefly, I'd like to cover the effect that was used to blow up the city a little bit with some fireballs in that opening shot. So first of all, I stood here in F1. I would click that button and then I'd look over, start recording, and watch things happen. But the command is, if we go back here, set block and then some coordinates, a redstone block. And then we want to replace the existing block. Now, where exactly is this? I don't remember exactly where the coordinates, where I need to be going to get to those coordinates. So let's look at them one more time. So 169, 66, negative 441. 169, what was that? Oh gosh, I don't remember. 66, negative 441. HTTP the resource 37, 169, 66, negative 4, oh gosh, was it 441? Did I do that right? Nope. Oh, yes I did. I did do it right. So here's where it was. Here's the redstone for the map, for this scene. So the redstone block gets placed here. There's some repeaters, and then there's, I'm not really sure exactly how this redstone contraption works, but it is intended to, I think it's a clock, actually. Is that right? I'm not sure. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know how this works well enough to tell you guys exactly how it works, but Prime TNT is what's being summoned. And then I think, is this more Prime TNT? No, this is a fireball. So there's a fireball, and then there's a Prime TNT that gets summoned. Yeah, so 2 fireballs and a Prime TNT are being created in order to blow up the city. And that's actually where the redstone is located. So, not actually very far. But anyways, let's actually turn the system on and get another look. I think we have to break that redstone block one more time, actually, though, in order to get the system to turn on. So let's hop down there. I'm not sure if this is going to work. I did not create this redstone system again, so I can't be positive. But if we get this wrong, maybe we can bring whitetigersushi on in episode 3, and he can explain it to us. But anyways, let's head over here. to the obsidian totem pole or whatever here. Let's turn it on. Let's hit F1. So the redstone block was placed, and then, yep, 2 fireballs get shot. So that's how that effect worked, and obviously it was nighttime when the actual scene was shot. But once again, the redstone block goes down, 2 fireballs get shot out, and TNT goes down for an explosion. So that's how that effect works in general. So next time, we're going to be covering episodes 9 through 12, roughly. Also, I guess episode 8 we'll cover. So that means we're going to be covering Althalos' mountain, his fortress, the crystal explosion we will cover, and then the final scene, which is over in a cave. I believe it's somewhere in that direction. And also we might briefly cover the search that happens for episodes 11 and kind of a little bit in 12, but that's not going to be our main focus. So anyways, guys, I hope you've enjoyed. Please remember to like and subscribe and comment with more questions and suggestions if you did. This has been the Chaldonut speaking. Goodbye, friends, and I will see you all next time with more behind the scenes of a Chaldonian survival.